Hello everybody, my name is Aud and welcome back to the Aud Narrations channel, a place where we read and react to the best Reddit stories. The first story for today is titled, How Do I, 40 male, believe and trust my ex, 37 female, again? As always, if you appreciate these videos and want to see more, make sure to hit the subscribe button, that way you won't miss the latest upload. Alrighty, let's make a start. The post reads, Long post on an alt account for privacy. In 2017, my ex and I split over some stupid things I did that drove her away, neglectful and focused on porn. It lasted a year, and I spent that time apart fixing everything about myself that contributed to her leaving. While we were split, she dated a guy who was a total loser, liar, cheater, alcoholic. She broke up with him after he cheated, and then she and I decided to try again. Almost immediately, she was sneaking around with him, staying out all hours and not communicating. And when she was home, she would either ignore me or act like she hated me. And when I brought up the fact that I knew she was still seeing him, she would belittle me. She would tell me that he was the actual love of her life, he could please her in a way that I never could. Run. Again, run. I wasn't shit. She hated me, he could whoop my ass, etc. She ended up getting pregnant with his kid and tried to pass it off as mine. What a nice person. But the math didn't add up, so she came clean. She ended up miscarrying after I decided to stay and work through it. After about a year after that, she left me to be alone and figure things out. But within a month, he was living with her again. She and I worked on friendship together, and she told me multiple times that he was her person and who she was meant to be with. They stayed together for a couple of years until they became physically abusive with her, and she left. She spent a year trying to rebuild, dating other bottom dweller types in the meantime. A few months ago, she and I talked about reconciling, moving slowly and making sure it's what we both wanted. She had a health scare that I legitimately was afraid would kill her, so I stayed with her a couple of days after she got out of the hospital. From there we moved quickly and I ended up back living with her. After the initial excitement wore off, I started feeling off. She was telling me that I've always been the one, that everything comes back to me and us, and she realised that leaving was a mistake almost immediately after she did. So I reminded her of the things she said and did while we were still together, and after we split, and I told her I was struggling to believe that I was the love of her life because of that. To which she said she was lying to herself and only stayed away because she felt like that was what she deserved for the things she did. Yeah, right. She's changed so much from who she was then. She is much more understanding, patient, and emotionally mature. She admits her faults and shortcomings and wants to make things right between us, so we can grow old together. But I have this nagging feeling that this other guy was the actual love of her life, and it fell apart. She couldn't find a decent guy after and just decided to say, I've had my chance with true love, it didn't work, so let me go be with someone I'm not in love with, but still love and wouldn't mind growing old with. Admittedly, I'm cynical by nature, and I come up with crazy scenarios that are far-fetched at all time. So I'm sure a lot of what I'm feeling is fear and insecurities. But I'm wondering how I can work through these feelings and believe when she says it's always been me. She's lying to you. Am I just a fool for entertaining the thought of us again? Unfortunately, she's trying to trick you back into that situation. She's trying to trick you into giving her that security. She tried to pass off some other guy's kid as yours. You wouldn't do that to somebody you actually love, somebody you want to have that future with. You would do that to someone you're abusing or trying to take advantage of. Someone that you have, for some reason, feel superior to in this case, I guess. Don't. Or could she really be different this time and have realized things from her experiences? I think she's probably just scared, to be alone. And you are an easy option while she rebuilds herself, whilst you help her rebuild, and then she'll do whatever the fuck she wants. Because that's what she did last time. If it can happen once, it can happen twice. TLDR. Ex cheated, left and said terrible things to me, changed her tune later and said that she learned from the mistakes. I'm struggling to trust and believe. Yeah, no, I wouldn't trust her. I wouldn't touch her with a 6-foot pole, to be quite honest. I would steer well clear. This woman is a manipulative liar, and she will try and take advantage of you for some reason. I think she wants to keep you around because you're an easy option, you're available, and you're still keen, clearly, very clearly. Which I respect. However, in this situation, I don't think it's probably the best idea for you to do this. At the end of the day, because she's gone behind your back, because she tried to pass off a kid as yours, that's going to eat at you throughout your whole relationship. You know, you'll always be feeling like the second guy, the backup plan, the, plan B, the one, not her true love, right, in this case. And also be suspicious that she's just doing it all again, but now is better at hiding it. I wouldn't trust anything she says in this context, no. Let's have a look at what the community says. Someone's left a comment saying, honestly, I don't know why you would want to work through these issues. Fundamentally, rebuilding trust is about time. It's about consistency and transparency. There is never any one thing that someone can do to demonstrate trustworthiness, especially after trust has been broken. For the longest time, you're always going to wonder if she's lying or hiding something, even if it seems like she's super transparent about things. What if she's just deleting her texts? What if she's sneaking out behind your back again? And the paranoia isn't great for either of you. Someone else left a comment saying, dude, this is nothing but a series of terrible choices. Why on earth do you even want to try with someone who has cheated on you and abused you? Are there no other women on the planet? But yeah, what do you think OP should do? What would you do in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comments. Sorry to interrupt the video, but as it turns out, only about 10% of my viewers are actually subscribed. It would really help out the channel if you could hit the subscribe button. Thank you very much. Righty, let's move on to story 2. The story is titled, My Boyfriend Used to Hook Up With a Friend and I Feel Insecure Now. The post reads, I, 23 female, have been with my boyfriend, 25 male, for just over 2 months, and he's absolutely amazing. At a party a few nights ago, I introduced my boyfriend to my friends who hadn't met him before, and one of them recognized him and went for a hug. I asked how they knew each other, and she responded saying they were friends, but it was pretty obvious it was more than that. I figured I would ask my boyfriend about it later, but I couldn't stop thinking about whatever it was between them, and my boyfriend noticed, pulled me aside during the party and asked if I was okay. I told him that I had an uneasy feeling about him and my friend, so we left the party and went back to his place where he told me everything. He met her at a club about 2 years ago, and they hooked up that night, and kept on hooking up for a 7-month stretch, while he was in a relationship with someone else. Red flag, red flag, red flag. My friend wanted them to be in a relationship, and he said he only wanted to hook up, and she wasn't happy about that, but continued to hook up with him, even initiating and asking him to meet up most of the time. Okay, big red flag behavior. He's a cheater. He did it for 7 months. That means he's a serial cheater, and she's clearly comfortable with that, and her and him kind of reconnecting in this context, it just spells a disaster coming down the lines. No wonder you feel insecure, because this is the perfect scenario to just repeat that same behavior. They continue. The worst part is that she was in a relationship during the times they were hooking up, and nobody, including my boyfriend, knew she was cheating. The last time they hooked up was 3 days before our first date, and he declined her after asking to meet after that. He offered to show me the text between them, and I'm not proud of it, but I did take him up on the offer and looked through their conversation, and everything he says is true. He was faithful to his ex, and he's been faithful to me, but I still feel really insecure. Wait, what? I thought it said he was in a relationship. Yeah, this story doesn't make any sense. Maybe it's written by AI. Could be a fib. Anyway, for now, let's give it the benefit of the doubt and just assume that one of these is a typo. Part of it has to do with my looks, I guess, since my friend is absolutely stunning while I'm a little chubby and my boyfriend is really handsome and in great shape. He even got a voice note from her this morning where she was crying, saying he deserves better and asking what I have that she doesn't and why I became his girlfriend so quickly while she waited 2 years for nothing. She's trying to like tug his heartstrings and get him involved again. I'm not breaking it with my boyfriend over this whole thing since he quite literally did nothing wrong, but I feel insecure now about my looks and our relationship. What should I do? Found out my boyfriend hooked up with my friend over a span of 2 years before we got together, and I feel insecure now. Maybe it was a typo before, and it should have been 7-month stretch when she was in a relationship with someone else. Not him, and that would align with the rest. Right, yeah, I would cut the friend out. Big time. Get her gone, get him to block her, like there should be no communication between the two. And to be honest, what she's trying to do here is pivot herself and get attention from him behind your back. Effectively try and seduce him out of the relationship with you so that he can be with her. She's not your friend. She's a snake in the grass. Assuming that the typo's correct. Let's see what the community says. Someone left a comment saying, your boyfriend isn't the problem. In this, your friend is, quote unquote. Someone replies saying, friend is going to make her play beyond the voicemail. If OP doesn't set some boundaries, there could be some problems. Someone replied saying, the boyfriend doesn't even seem remotely tempted. To which someone replied saying, he doesn't, but that doesn't mean the friend won't cause problems. She's already shown that she doesn't care about OP's feelings by making that voice note phone call. Someone replied to the original comment, saying, honestly, I don't love him either for continuously hooking up with a girl who has made it known she has feelings and wants to be in a relationship. Of course, they're both consenting adults, but I always find this kind of behavior gross and cruel. Yeah, situationships are not great. Someone replied saying, true enough, but we don't know to what extent this girl was clear with the boyfriend that she had feelings and still wanted to be in a relationship. And 2, to what extent the boyfriend made it clear that no relationship was on the cards. And they quote, why I became his girlfriend so quickly, while she waited 2 years for nothing. And they write, stringing someone along is cruel, but that waited 2 years for nothing line is a classic nice guy phrase, or nice girl in this case, I suppose. I wouldn't be at all shocked if the boyfriend has no idea that she was waiting. Fair. Someone replied to the original comment again, saying, this is precisely the reason the friend left a voice note for the boyfriend, crying that he deserves better, seriously questioning how he ended up with another exclusive, faithful, committed relationship, while, although she hasn't incessantly pursued and thrown herself at him, he has given her no consideration for the same, and for the second time in as many years since they met, has cast her aside with stoic indifference. It appears, with both her and the OP drowning in their own feelings, neither woman has attempted to understand that the boyfriend did not accident himself into the dynamic he has with either. He has made conscious, logical decisions in regards to both of them. He is a person who, as it has become obvious, dates with intention. From the OP's description, in knowing how cuckoo these birds are about him, he's the type that can be termed a high-value man. Okay, this is turning incel very quick. One aspect of becoming and maintaining and continuing to carry himself as a high-value man is in his being selective, and it is very much carefully considered, meticulous and thought-out decision in the women he chooses to become publicly romantically involved with, as he has shown positive traits in character, leaving the party when OP felt uneasy, being open in detail about the scope and mindset of his relationship with the friend, and his complete transparency in offering and allowing the OP to read all of the messages between them, and without any requirement to do so, was forthcoming with the voice note from the friend. It is likely he's only interested in entering a true relationship with someone who could potentially provide a loyal, long-term, lifelong commitment that he knows he can trust, and whether or not he was fully aware that the friend was cheating on someone else to be with him over those 2 years, I'm certain enough to say that he was astutely aware of her behaviours, values and character. She was placed and treated accordingly. When he met OP, he intentionally became aware of her behaviours, values and character. She was placed and treated accordingly. That's that. Don't screw this up with insecurity or jealousy. Put on your heels and boss this out with confidence because he didn't accident himself away from her into you. It was a deliberate choice. Her looks are much less persuasive than you fear. Being secure in yourself as you are for yourself and your boyfriend is so much more attractive than stunning yet insecure, neither of which improve over time. From a place of confidence and not insecurity, there should be a conversation. This is long as fuck. There should be a conversation. It's like written well. Normally long comments are just like gibberish. They're super hard to read. There should be a conversation with the boyfriend about whether to enlighten the mutual girlfriends about the other friend's intentions and her attempted betrayal of your friendship. Depending on their own relationships with her, consider the value of your friendships with each of the other birds in the flock by exposing the snake among you. But again, because it's very important, a discussion should first take place with the boyfriend as to an acceptable and agreed upon level of openness in sharing details of your relationship with another person. Anyone, including family and friends, outside of your relationship, because a high-value man will often choose privacy and accompanying peace within his committed relationship at the expense of any relationships outside of it. OP replied, probably reading about half the sentences in it, saying, thank you for this, smiley face. Someone else left a comment saying, what friend? I don't see a friend. Someone else left a comment saying, I 100% bet that your boyfriend thinks that you're more attractive than your friend anyway. Remember, looks can get you into a room, but personality keeps you there. Ditch this friend, keep the boy. He seems to have dealt with this in a really mature way and has reassured you so well. Don't let this eat at you, though as if you do, it will affect your relationship. Basically, do you trust him? Yeah. Do you trust that he wants you more than your friend? You should. Problem solved. Someone else left a comment saying, if she literally said what she got that I don't, she's not your friend. Cut her loose. Just because he was hooking up with her doesn't mean he finds her more attractive. Clearly he doesn't, or he would date her. Attraction is more than just physical looks. Oh, in that case, yeah, fair enough. If you're going to define it like that. It's also personality and attitude that sounds like he wasn't attracted to her in any way that matters. Sometimes people just want meaningless sex. Sounds like that's what she is. Or was. Indeed. Yeah. Throwback. Just from that, like what she got that I don't, has just reminded me of an ex from years ago. Some of the universities in the UK are very competitive and very competitive. So you have to go through a series of exams and interviews that are like not great. They're not fun. Though when you get your offers back, and I revealed to my, at the time, ex that I'd got an offer. Not a low one, it was fucking high, but I got an offer and she didn't. The first thing she said was, "Why you and not me?" Mind you, this is like my girlfriend of a year and a half. We'd sort of made plans to try and go to the same university together, and then only to get fired that at me. That was like the nail in the coffin, if you couldn't tell. But yeah, she's not your fucking friend at all. She's a bit of a beg, to be honest. This is kind of it. This is embarrassing behaviour. Ugh. But yeah, well, what do you think OP should do? What would you do in OP's shoes? Let me know in the comments. As always, if you appreciate these videos, make sure to hit the subscribe button. That way you won't miss the latest upload. We'll have to finish there. Thank you very much for listening, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.